In this video, I'm gonna show you the 10 habits that helped me become a Division I football player. So if you wanna know kind of what I did that kind of helped me go from a guy who didn't even start in high school to a guy who played at Division I level, then I suggest you watch this full video. What is good, YouTube? Welcome back to another video here at desireLess with your guy KJ, helping running backs elevate and dominate the competition. And today I have a special one for you because I want to break down 10 habits that helped me be able to reach my goals and reach my dreams of playing D1 ball even when I didn't even have the chance to. Okay, I was a guy in high school, didn't start at all. I was so far down the bench. I was behind the water boy. The water boy was gonna get in the game before me, but I persevered and I still made my goal. Now when I got to Ohio, was I a star or anything like that? No, I was not. Actually, for my last year, I had to transfer out just so I could play, but it doesn't matter. I wasn't supposed to be there in the first place. And today, I'm gonna break down the 10 habits that can help you. And you're probably way better than I was in high school. So just think, you apply maybe my habits that I've applied, then you'll get there too. Before I get in the video, what is actually a habit? So I know a lot of you guys might think that maybe a habit is like, okay, well, what time do you wake up in the morning? Or what do you eat for breakfast? Or do you brush your teeth? Or did you do X, Y, Z? In reality, habits are just anything you do habitually. That's what a habit is short for. It's a habitual action, which is something that you do every day. And there could be good habits and there could be bad habits, all right? It isn't necessarily a certain thing like, okay, I have a habit that I wake up at a certain time every day. And habit could be just something like, hey, if you sit on your couch at from 3 p.m. all the way to it's time to go to bed, that is a habit. That might be a lazy habit, a bad habit, but it's a habit. It's anything that you do habitually each day. So here's some things that I did daily that helped me get to a point where I was a guy who played Division I ball. So going into habit number 1, doing more than what was required. I know you guys might think, well, duh. I mean, duh, you had to do, but look, listen here, okay? Because it wasn't just a one-time thing. It wasn't like I just did more on certain days. I made sure I did more every day. As a guy who was always trying to improve, understand that, hey, I have a big gap that I didn't play at all. I had no stats, nothing like that. So the guys who I'm competing against, the guy who I'm fighting for the same spots, they already have the high school experience. They already have the stats, all that stuff like that. So I knew in the off season, in the season, I had to do more. I was a guy who was training more than anybody, training harder at the moment. With lifting, I'm just lift as hard as I can. All right, after lifting, I'm gonna find ways to do extra mobility, extra flexibility, extra footwork, extra catching, all this stuff, working on my core. I worked on just so many more things to help me get better. And that's the mindset that I adopted to say, hey, I just gotta do more. All right, whatever the average person on the team is doing, I'm gonna do 2 times what he's doing. Even what the hard workers doing, okay, I'm gonna still one up them. I'm gonna outdo something else. I'm gonna out recover them. I'm gonna outwork them. Essential work, or focus on things that's necessarily gonna kill my body. All right, now going into habit number 2 is eating healthy foods. As I say, nutrition was a big factor in my career from a guy who was a little, I won't say I was chubby, but I wasn't necessarily in the best shape. But when I was in JUCO and I decided to lock in on my nutrition, I see my body, not only my body transform, I look better. I was looking so good that, you know, your girlfriend probably, let me stop right there. All right, not only was I looking good, but I was performing at an elite level. In JUCO, I went to a camp, I ran a 4.7, all right, a 4.7. But when I changed my nutrition after a couple months, and I wasn't even speed training, I just changed my nutrition. I got leaner. I ran a 4.340, all right, a 4.340 and a 42.5-inch vertical. Me changing my nutrition and eating things that actually matter, all that stuff helped me become the player that I needed to become. Without nutrition, I would just be a short, semi-chubby guy who was decent athleticism. But when I changed my nutrition, it changed how I felt, it changed my confidence, how I moved. I knew I looked good, I knew I was fast, I got explosive, and how my ability to play on the field. Going into habit number 3, which is, oh my God, it's so important, is getting sleep every night. I'm talking like 8 to 10 hours of sleep. So when I was in my JUCO time, I read a book called Peak by, I don't know exactly who, but it was some sports performance doctor that wrote from Canada that wrote this book, and pretty much they talked about, one of the major chapter was on sleep. And I know a lot of people just think, all right, just sleep, that like you just go to bed and you lay your head down, but it's much more into it. There's different stages of sleep. Not all sleep is the same sleep. It's quality of sleep. And pretty much what the book was talking about, it broke down the 4 stages of sleep, from in-REM sleep to REM sleep, which REM is like when your body recovers, but it pretty much talks about all of that. And the thing is, when it comes to sports performance, your body will never develop or never really get the full potential until it gets the 8 to 10 hour sleep range. I mean, you're gonna be sleeping from when you go to bed, it takes about like 90 minutes for you to actually like go into your deep REM. Once you start going to the stages of REM, your last like stage is when your body actually starts to develop and build the muscle tissue. So if you're a guy and you're getting 6 hours, less than 6 hours, you're never gonna get that point to where you can let your body recover, which he put out a fact that I was like so surprising, that athletes who get less than 8 hours of sleep, I think 8 to 6 hours of sleep, or less than 6 hours of sleep, I have to, don't quote me on on that. I've said it in other videos correctly. Almost 2 times more likely. It was 1.7 to be exact. 1.7 times likely, almost 2 times more likely to get injured in their sport. So if you're getting 6 hours of sleep or even less, that is going to be a real bad thing. So I took that like, hey, I already was a guy who liked to sleep, but I took that like, hey, every night I'm getting 8 to 10 hours of sleep. But what I did was I maybe cut off certain things. You know, I had a nighttime routine, so I made sure I got into bed. I made sure that I'm not up playing Call of Duty or playing some type of video game late night. I made sure I got my sleep, man. All right, habit number 4 is that I surrounded myself with the right group of people. I wasn't a guy who didn't hang around with everybody, because in reality, I didn't want what everybody else wanted to. Everybody else during that time after I was in high school and I didn't start and everything, they were, you know, we were in college and all that. You know what regular college students do? They want to experiment. They want to do dumb stuff. They want to do X, Y, Z. And I'm not saying I was a guy who didn't do anything. All right, I've had my fun. I've had this and that, all that, but understand that my circle, the people who I kept with, the people who I was around, they were people who thought like-minded. For example, Cam is somebody who's in my circle, and one of the very few that I actually could talk about anything with them. Like, that guy right there is having somebody who holds me accountable, and I hold him accountable. I only surround myself with guys who I see that are doing something with value, or that is something out of, I don't hang around with just people who just don't do anything, because they say you're the sum of the 5 people you hang around with the most. So if you hang around with 5 guys who are on BS, they're not doing what they're supposed to, guess what? You're probably gonna be the 6th one. And if you're hanging around with 5 guys who are doing what they're supposed to do, they're grinding every day, they're successful, they're doing everything they're possible to get better, well, guess what? Probably gonna happen to you. So one of the things that I realized that, hey, I have a small circle, and I still have my small group of friends. Like, I don't hang out with just anyone. All right, I might kick it. I mean, yeah, I can say what's up. I'm not just like a guy. I just talk to 5 people. I'm like, hey, everybody else, no. But understanding that I'm not gonna be buddy, but I'm not gonna be coming over, getting high with you, or doing something else that I have no interest in. Unless you align something with my life, that's the only time I'm gonna associate with you. Habit number 5 is going into planning out my day. Now, I read a book, and I didn't even know about this habit until about a year ago. So it kind of defeats the purpose of this video. But understand that this is an important habit that still after my college football career, I still see major value of it. All right, it's planning out your day. As a human, time is the most valuable possession you have. As an athlete, time is the most valuable possession you have, because without time, there is no life. And if you love life, a great quote by Bruce Lee is, if you love life, then you love time, because time is what life is made out of. Okay, so you have to value your time. And a lot of people, they don't value their time. They do what they do. They wake up in the day like, what am I gonna do today? And they squander around, they scroll on their phone for a couple hours, they do X, Y, Z, and the day's gone, they repeat. All right, you're not valuing your time. When in my last year of college football, I was running this brand, I was posting content, I was still a guy who was committed, studying film, I was taking classes, I was playing football, practicing football, and I was still able to have a social life, doing all that in the same season. Why? Because I planned out my day. I planned out pretty much every hour of my day. All right, you don't have to be that complex, but understand you just need some type of agenda. All right, when you wake up, you need something to attack the day. It creates something in your brain where you wake up and you have a list, something in front of you, it motivates you. And you don't even need motivation, you have something in front of you to go about your day. If you wake up and it's like, all right, well, I guess I'll do this and I guess I'll do that. Well, I mean, how successful can you actually be? I mean, you think like guys like Tom Brady, who's the GOAT of football, became the GOAT by just waking up and doing whatever? Think LeBron James just wakes up and do whatever? And even outside of football, you think Elon Musk just wakes up and like, all right, what I got today? No, these guys plan out their days. All right, if you want to be a 1% athlete, you need to take just the 1% mindset of anybody. All right, and one of the things that I wish I would have done earlier in my career is, you know, plan out my days, because you can save so much time. A lot of times you're thinking you're too busy to do X, Y, Z, and you're really not. You're just not planning your time. You plan your days out. You plan your blocks out, either a to-do list, or what I do is I go on Google Calendar and I just make sure I block out each part of my day. And you're able to get so much more done. Habit number 6 that helped me become a Division I football player is reading and learning. I picked up on reading around 2021 when I was in JUCO, and the first book I ever really read, like actually like, hey, I'm gonna sit down and read, was Atomic Habits. When I read that book, it pretty much changed like the trajectory of my life. I'm not gonna lie, as in like who I was as a person. Atomic Habits pretty much was a book that talks about how to, you know, hey, habits, this video habits, but it talks about how to create atomic habits, big habits, but take them by micro steps. The problem is that ambition kills everybody. All right, when somebody wants to start something, they have so much ambition and motivation to get started. They're like, hey, I want to get in shape, so I'm gonna try the most extreme diet ever. Or hey, I want to become a millionaire, so I'm gonna try the most craziest, riskiest thing ever. And the thing is that your ambition is so big at the beginning. When you're motivated, it's cool. All right, you're able to knock out 1 or 2 days. But what happens when you're a weekend, when you're a month in, then motivation is gone, and you don't have the discipline or even the habit to be able to do it. All right, and Atomic Habit pretty much talks about how you take micro steps daily to get eventually the big rewards without burning out, or what most people do is that they have an ambitious goal, they try it, and the motivation's gone, and then they stop and they repeat the cycle over and over again. And I'm a victim of it. I was a person like that, and when I read that book, it pretty much changed my whole perspective on habits. And then another thing is, in that book, it was talked about the rule of latent potential, which pretty much is, for instance, you're an athlete, all the work you put in this off season prepares for the season, right? And if you don't have the season, let's say you don't have the season, reason you wanted to. And you think, well, dang man, everything I just put into in the off season, it wasn't worth it. Like it was a waste. In reality, when he put out a point at the rule of latent potential is that it really wasn't. Understand that the work you put in is not a waste. It's still compounding to the person you're supposed to be. You just haven't reached the breakthrough yet. Just because you put all this work to get you this closer and you didn't hit your goal just yet doesn't mean it's a waste. It's still building up, and if you keep going, eventually you will bust through the wall. What most people do is that they do something, they didn't see results when they wanted to, and then guess what? They quit. So all that momentum did build up, it's gone now. And it's kind of a picture example I always think about is the guy who was digging for the diamonds and he's this close, but he gives up. And it's another guy who's hungry and he's gonna keep going without. So kind of have that in mind is that world of latent potential, the work you put in, no matter what, like even if it doesn't pay off when you wanted to, it still was effective. That work wasn't wasted. All right, you're just still building, you're still climbing, you still have a time to go. All right, so keep going. All right, so that kind of was off track, but reading, bro, I learned, like I read pretty much every day. I study or read, and reading has definitely transformed my mind because it allows you to connect with the greatest minds of the world. Like if you want to connect with like minds like William Shakespeare's, Julius Caesar's, Marcus Aurelius, some of the top minds, some of the most high positioned people in the world, and think like them or understand their ideas, you can connect with them. Because I believe that not only just football and sports, but life in general, they all cross. There's certain principles to success, no matter what you're doing, that you have to follow. You have to be disciplined. You have to be persistent. You have to always be learning. You have to have a desire. You have to have belief. Everything, all those things, and usually those principles are talked about in books. Whether there's a lot of sports books out there. There's millions of books nowadays, but there's literally books for everything that you can really connect and understand. The difference between a book and maybe a YouTube video. Some guy, I hate reading. I just watch YouTube. But the thing is, for instance, this YouTube video took me about 15 minutes to prep it out, to create the outline and what I'm going to talk about, this and that. When an author creates a book, that person usually does probably 5 to 10 years of research on top of their life that they put into it. All right, so it could be even more, all into around, like I said, let's say an average book is like 200 pages, 250. That could take you probably 5-6 hours to read. So you say you read 30 minutes a day, a couple weeks, you could have 15 years of knowledge in just a couple hours compared to a YouTube video. I mean, this is my experience and everything, but it didn't take me long to prepare. Like I just did this and I was just kind of going off the dome at that too. So books are so much more valuable. Like the return on investment you get from books compared to a YouTube video is not even close. And there's like, it's just proven to, bro. It's like, it's literally like, if I'm not reading a book, I'm listening to audiobooks all the time, bro. And it's definitely, as you learn, you grow, and that's how you accelerate your progress as an athlete. Because when you're actually getting reps and you're learning, oh my gosh, bro, it's exponential growth compared to linear. Always like, never mind. It's linear growth compared to exponential. All right. Habit number 7 that helped me become a Division I athlete is doing the hardest thing first. So kind of going back to the schedule, kind of going back to how people go about their day, is that a lot of people, they delay the hardest thing. For instance, workout. A lot of people, if you're not on a certain program, let's say you're on your own or you have certain things you want to do, you wait until the end of the day, or you wait and you prolong all the hardest stuff. You have to film study, you have to do XYZ, you have to, have to go work out with this trainer, you push it down the road. And the thing is, when you push it down the road, you give your mind time to think. And when you're in a situation where you're uncertain, when you're uncomfortable, and you give time, that is the worst thing possible, because guess what? You're gonna talk yourself out of it. I was one of them. I would say, yeah, guess what? I'm gonna knock out my push-ups or sit-ups, or I'm gonna knock out my yoga or mobility, and I'll do it right before I go to bed. And guess what? Man, it is pretty late. I do gotta get my sleep, right? Yeah, I gotta get my sleep. And then guess what? And that's that. I got off the cycle and I didn't do it. But one of the things that I switched is that I started doing the hard things first. So when I wake up, the most daunting tasks I have, rather if it's with school, rather if it's with business, rather if it's with training, I train in the morning. Start off the day training, anything. I get it out the way first because I don't give my mind time to think, all right? You don't negotiate with yourself. Don't do that, because you negotiate with yourself, your logical thinking, the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain that defines logic, it's gonna give you every reason to not do it, all right? Rather, compared to if you wake up in the morning, you're just like, look, I have an agenda, I have my to-do list. What is the hardest thing on the thing? Just do it. Don't think about it. And anytime you're scared, and that's how you kind of build courage too. Something I'm working on right now too is just kind of being more comfortable, all right, and putting myself in more uncomfortable positions. I notice that when I think about it and I wait, the less likely I'm gonna do it. Rather, if I just go into it and do it like a real G, and hey, I do it and I get over whatever it is, all right? So do the hardest thing first in the morning, work out. If you have something hard that you don't feel like doing, do it first. If you have some habit that you don't like, do it first. All right, if you don't like to work out, do it first. If you don't like to study, do it first. And trust me, you're gonna be way more consistent. Number 8 is talk less and do more. So during that time, I couldn't talk. And this was kind of just, I couldn't really talk because I had nothing going for me, all right? I was a guy, I didn't play in high school, so I just talked less. Everything I went through was about my actions. I just busted my ass every day. I grinded every day. Even at JUCO, people tell you I don't talk unless you like my roommate, who became one of my closest friends, but I didn't talk. I was out there hanging out with the guys in the hallways, having all these wars with the Nerf guns and all that. I just wasn't interested in that. I didn't care about that. I didn't care about staying up to 3 a.m. We got practice at 8 just because, some girls down in the dorms. I wanted to be the best. I wanted to work. I wanted to get better, all right? So like, I didn't really, even in practice, in game, people, you know, talk and run their mouth, this and that. I'm just about action, bro. I just want to lead by my actions. Like, even right now, like, I talk now, I'm a little more vocal compared to where I am before. Even now, I'm still not the most vocal dude. I just put my head down and work. I'm going to show you my actions, all right? And that's how I feel like helped me, is that, hey, I'm not going to tell you how good I am. I'm just going to show you. Habit number 9 is being comfortable with being uncomfortable. Kind of going back to what I was talking to earlier, doing the hardest thing first, putting myself in uncomfortable positions. All right, I had a coach, Coach Brian Hardorn, who always said in the weight room, we lifting, be comfortable with being uncomfortable. And he would say that all the time. I had no idea what that meant. Obviously, I'm uncomfortable. We're lifting weights, bro, and it was hard. But I'm like, okay, yeah, be comfortable. It went in one ear and out the other. I was like, yeah, all that stuff. But now as I got older, you understand, you have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable because it's psychological reasons. And I don't want to go too deep into this. I'll probably make a video. But basically, humans are fear-based creatures. You got to realize that most of our time on planet Earth, we were hunted. We had to detect fear. We were dealing with saber-toothed tigers, all right? So in order for us to advance and be able to survive, our amygdala, the part of the brain that determines fight or flight, and once again, I wasn't spelling bee champion or anything like that, so there's the pronunciations of the words, I'm sorry, it's pretty strong. It pretty controls your body, right? You have that feeling where you're like, oh man, I'm getting nervous, or I get anxiety, or I'm scared, this and that, is because it's a defensive mechanism for our bodies, because we needed that to survive. We had to be aware of if a freaking saber-toothed tiger is about to come and he had me for lunch. But the thing is, evolution, times have changed, but guess what? The brain still operates the same thing. So your brain, even though it might not be the threat of a saber-toothed tiger, your brain can determine if it's a threat of a saber-toothed tiger, or maybe just a position of you just being uncomfortable. Maybe that's you trying to be a leader. Maybe that's you trying to, you know, go out there and do something crazy on the field that you should do, but you're scared to do it. Anything like that, your brain just still thinks of it as a threat. So it makes you pretty much puts like a barrier over you, like, hey, don't do it, right? And the thing is, with reason, you can't listen to it, right? Anytime you have a feeling where you have your body telling you, hey, don't do it, and it's probably something that's good for you, you just need to do it. And that's one of the things I learned, just like, hey, like, in order for you to overcome not even a fear, but the anxiety or just that feeling, is that you have to put yourself out there, you have to grow, and you have to be uncomfortable. Because in order to grow, you need stress. You need to be uncomfortable, okay? Without that, you'll stay the same. All right, so if you want to change, stay the same. I couldn't stay the same. I was the bench player. All right, so I'm like, hey, I gotta do more. I gotta put myself out there more. I gotta talk to more people. I gotta try more things. I gotta do more stuff on the field. So I started just putting myself in more uncomfortable positions. And I'm still in the battle today of trying to still push myself to be uncomfortable. It's certain things. It's always levels to it. You'll never just be a person who's totally comfortable. Because if you are, guess what? It's probably mean you're not trying anything else in life. You need to start doing stuff. Because there's always certain things and new things and uncertainty and a lot of things that you don't know what's going to happen. So that creates kind of that feeling of uncomfortable. So you put yourself out there, do it. All right, so be comfortable with being uncomfortable. It's okay to be uncomfortable. It's normal. It's the only way you're going to grow and get better. All right, and going into habit number 10. This video is quite long, and that is yoga and meditation. So I got in yoga probably around right before D19, okay, around there. And first I just did it just because I want to increase my mobility, which was definitely a good thing of becoming more flexible, become more mobile. You know, helps me get out of my cuss, helps me be able to be more fluid when I'm running, all that. But another thing that I picked up on, which the yoga and meditation part, is that the meditation and how good it was for me and to be able to be, you know, locked in. All right, meditation is one of the most proven things to help any person increase focus, and kind of the part of the amygdala that I was talking about before that determines fight or flight, is that it pretty much controls all emotion. All right, when you get angry, it's the amygdala, all that stuff like that. But when you meditate, kind of it shrinks it and it creates more gray matter in your brain, which is the prefrontal cortex part of the brain, the front part of the brain that determines logic. It makes it bigger pretty much. And you meditate and you're more logical in a sense. It's usually better to be more logical because you're not going to overreact. As an athlete, you know that we get emotional, of up and down, highs and lows, emotional roller coasters, what they like to say. We have a good game, we have a bad game. Are we doing the best? Hey, we're not playing right now. Hey, coach is cheating us. Hey, coach, just give me a chance. All that is all emotion. If you meditate or do yoga or any type of meditation, that part of the brain that goes off emotion, all people who get triggered, it gets smaller. So now you're a more logical thinker. You're not over exaggerating. You're not overreaching. You're not getting frustrated with certain things. All right, and that's feel like for me right now, I'm a very reasonable person. I don't get emotionally high or low that much compared to what most people do. I mean, I see most people freaking freak out in traffic. I'm like, bro, what are you yelling at? It's traffic. We're all stuck here, bro. You over here complaining like a baby. Like, no, kind of like it helps you pretty much be calm and be focused. It increases your focus. A whole bunch of stuff proving that increase your focus. So you know what you need to knock out. That to-do list you have. Hey, if I meditate, I'm focused, locked in. Relieve stress. If you're feeling overwhelmed, if you feeling like, hey, I can't control my state, you meditate for a little bit. Guess what? It's state management. management. You're able to control your state, be more focused. And guess what? When you're more focused, you're more locked in, you're more in control of your life. All right, so here are 10 habits that I did to become a Division I football player. Now, once again, these are my habits. I didn't say this is the best habits. I didn't say this is something that you should do, but if you're somebody and you're looking for ways to get better, and I suggest that you should maybe, you know, pick up on these habits. Not all of them, maybe a couple. You gotta see what you like and what you don't like, all right? It's a lot of habits I experimented with other people's stuff, and I figured out, hey, this is a good one, and hey, that does not work for me, all right? What habits are gonna work is gonna determine your personality. Which I feel like a lot of people don't talk about is that personality is a big part in determining the type of habits you have, how you go about your day. So you need to figure out what habits align with your personality that will help you get better, and once you get there, you'll be good. If you're a running back and you made it through this full video, I know you're serious. I know you're a guy who wants to hit that next level, bro, and I know we have about one more month before the season starts. A lot of you guys, you might be like, man, like I'm feeling confident, but you're not feeling all the way confident. Like you're not feeling like you know what, I am so sure that I will have a dominant season that guess what, my self-esteem, my confidence is through the roof, right? If you're running back and you know for this last month or so, you want to get real coaching from myself to help you mentally and physically be able to dominate the game, so it prepares you for a full season of success rather than some of you guys might have 1 or 2 games and it plateaus after that. We teach you how to have a full season of success, how to master the running back position, how to go about it. There's plenty of videos I talk about in the running back position throughout this channel that obviously I can't get into right now because it's deep, bro. But if you're running back and you want to hit that next level, you want to be elite, hit the link in the description down below. We could book a free strategy call where I can give you some advice, give you some help, and then we can see if you want, we can see if our coaching program will be a good fit for you. Okay, if you're interested in that, link in the description down below. But hey, that's all I got for you guys. See you later.